Hi guys, this is Vineet, and in today's video we will talk about how you can copy and how you can copy databases with backup and restore in SQL Server. So databases can be copied with the backup and restore process in SQL Server as well. So guys, if you are new to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button below this video. Click on the subscribe button, it will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. Alright, so let me give you 5 seconds to subscribe. Please go ahead and do so right away. I'm waiting. So guys, I hope you have subscribed to my channel by now. So today's topic is how to copy databases with backup and restore process in SQL Server. So before we proceed ahead, there are some points to remember while watching this video. Please watch this video till the end to gain better clarity of the concept, and if it's possible for you, please watch this video twice to gain better clarity of the concept, or you may watch it as many times as you want to gain better clarity. Now perform any exercises in your test and lab environments only. Do not touch any production environments or production databases. We would like to know your thoughts regarding our videos, so please guys do share us your comments, suggestions, feedback, any requirements, any day-to-day stories with SQL Server. You may also let us know about the situations where my content has helped you somewhere in some way. We eagerly wait for your comments guys and would love to read your stories, so please do share your stories with us. Apart from that, we have created some playlists for you to watch. Some of them are database design playlist, tables playlist, business continuity, indexing, performance tuning, integration services. These are some of the playlists. We have more than 200 videos posted on our channel right now. If we talk about the exact count, it's like 203 videos at present are there on my channel. My channel page is link is given here as well as you can find the same link in the video description area as well. Apart from that, you will find the link to all the playlist in my video description area, so please check out the video description area. And guys, what I would say, the best way to learn stuff is to watch through playlist instead of watching the videos randomly on any topic. If you want to master any particular topic, like for example, this video is pertaining to a database design topic, which is the first playlist. The best way is to learn is to go to that playlist, SQL Server database design playlist. Watch out all the videos from beginning till the end if you want to master that area. For example, if you want to master the database design area, please go to database design playlist and watch out all the videos. I keep on adding videos to each and every playlist day by day. So yeah, that is the way to learn. I hope you will follow this approach in future. Now let's come back to today's topic, which is how to copy databases with backup and restore process in SQL Server. Let's go to notes quickly guys, and this is the topic, how you can copy databases with backup and restore. Guys, going forward, I will be writing notes as soon as I'm teaching or giving lecture on this topic. So I will be writing notes and I expect you to write notes along with me. In case you don't want to write the notes and if you want the PDF copy of the notes I'm writing, you can do so, but that will be a paid process. And the cost is INR 25 per page for per page of notes. You can send a request for the notes to my email address vrmavane@gmail.com with the title of the video for which you want the notes. So upon receiving your request, I will send you the payment link, and upon making payment you can download the notes. Now let's come back to a topic, so which is copying databases with backup and restore process in SQL Server. So in SQL Server, you can create a new database by restoring a backup of the user database created by using SQL Server, maybe 2005 or later version. However, backups of master, model and MSDB database that were created by using earlier version of SQL Server cannot be restored by SQL Server. So this is important point, right? So the first thing is that you can create a new database on a new server. Let me put that in bracket. This can be done by restoring a backup of a user database. So you can create a new database on a new server by restoring a backup of a user database that is taken from some other server. Alright. So that is fine, and apart from that, if we talk about, so however, we can say backups of specific databases like master, model and MSDB that were created by using the earlier version of SQL Server cannot be restored on a newer version of SQL Server. So this is not true for the some of the databases which are system databases, master, model and SQL. So if we take a backup from the older version of SQL Server, we cannot restore that particular backup for master, model or MSDB databases on a new version of SQL Server. Also, there is one more point. Database backups, maybe I can say user database backups that are taken on a latest version of SQL Server cannot be restored on any previous version. Alright guys, so these are the main points. Give me a minute guys, let me check what further. Alright guys, let's talk about some of the general steps here for maybe I can say backup and restore to copy a database. Alright, let's discuss on these steps. Let me make it a heading quickly. Let's give it blue color. So let's do a discussion on general steps for backup and restore to copy a particular database. Now when we use backup and restore to copy a database to another instance of SQL Server, the source and destination computers can be any platform on which the SQL Server runs. So that is one concept, and this is one of the important point, right? So whenever we use this methodology, when you use backup and restore to copy, right, a database to another instance of SQL Server, alright, maybe 2005 or later, the computer on which this instance of SQL, sorry guys, give me a minute. So when you use backup and restore to copy a database to another instance of SQL Server, the source and destinations, if we talk about the source and destination computers or instances, if they are on the same machine, can be of any platform on which the can be of any platform on which SQL Server runs. Alright, now let's talk about the general steps are. So I can say the general steps are, let's discuss on the steps. So first step is, what we do is we back up the source database. That is our first step in this process, and this database resides on an instance of SQL Server, right? Maybe 2005 or later. So the computer on which the the computer on which this source database exists, SQL Server is running, right, is called the source computer. Alright. So source computer is basically where the source database resides, from which we usually take the backup. So please keep this concept in mind. Now let's discuss about the second step. So first we will take the backup of the source database from the source computer. Now let's talk about the destination computer. On the computer to which you want to copy the database, which will be the destination computer. Let me type that. So we want to copy the source database to a destination computer. What we need to do, we need to connect to the instance of SQL Server on which we plan to restore the database. So after taking backup from the source computer of the source database, what we do, we connect to the computer, which is a destination computer, to which we want to restore the database. Alright, so fine. Let's discuss the third point here. So the third point will be to actually restore the database. So we will do what we will do. We will restore the backup of the source database on the destination computer. So restoring the database automatically creates all the database file. So that is all we know. So restoring the database basically automatically creates all the database files. So that is the usual stuff everyone knows. But yeah, let me point that out. There are some additional considerations as well that may affect this process. So let's talk about the items need to be done. So let's talk about before you can restore the database files. So what's need to be done before you restore any kind of database files? Let's make this a heading, right? And let's go ahead. So there are some steps need to be followed before you can do any kind of restore, right? You take backup from the source system, but before you do any kind of restore of database files or restore of a database, please keep in mind the following points. So we were talking earlier as well that restoring a database automatically creates the database files needed by the restoring database or restored database, I would say. And by default, if we talk about the by default situation, right, the files created by SQL Server during the restoration process use the same names as in the source database and same paths which are in source database as the backup files from the original database on the source computer. So whenever we restore a particular database backup, so what SQL Server does is it uses the same path and the same file names for any restoration purpose and perform restoration like that on the destination computer. Alright, so it uses the paths and names from the source database backup files. Now optionally, so there is an option available to us So optionally, if you want the files to be created on a different path, then what we can do, I'm discussing it here, so please pay attention. So optionally, when you restore the database or when restoring the database, I would say, what you can do, you can specify the device mapping. Let's not discuss about device mapping, but what you can specify is you can specify the file names which are important. So we can specify new file names or maybe new file paths, or maybe I can say paths for the restoring database. So we can manually specify the file paths where the file should get restored during the restoration process. And this might be necessary in the following situations. So let's discuss on those situations so where we need to change the file paths. So let's talk about those situations. So first situation can be the directory structure, right? If we talk about directory structure or maybe the drive mapping used by the database on the source computer or the original computer, I would say, does not exist on the destination computer. So in those cases, if same drive mapping is not available on the destination computer, what we will do, we will change the paths of the files to be created. Now let me give you an example. So if the backup contains maybe, right, a file that would be restored to drive V by default, but the destination computer lacks a drive V. So in that case, I cannot restore the file to the same location because drive V is not available on the destination computer, and therefore I need to change the path during the restoration process. The second point is where changing the file paths are essential is maybe we have drive V on the destination computer, but there may be a situation where the space is not sufficient to hold the data files. So the second point of interest is the target location might not have maybe the proper space, or maybe might have insufficient space, I would say. Alright, so this is the second point when we can consider changing the destination file paths for file restoration. And the next point can be you are reusing a database name that exists on the restore destinations. So this is I'm talking about the name change situation. So maybe you are restoring a database and maybe there is a situation that the database with the same name exists on the destination computer, and in those situations we need to change the name of the database we are restoring. So if you are reusing a database name that exists on the restored destination, right, and any of its files is named the same as the database file in the backup set, one of the following things can occur. Items can occur. So in this situation, what usually happens is, let me discuss that with you. So if we talk about the existing database files, right, if these files can be overwritten, right, it will be overwritten. So we should be careful while restoring the databases. So if there are files exist with the same name and in the same location, those files will get overwritten. And this would not basically, and this would not affect a file that belongs to a different database though. Database name. Alright. So there are chances of overwriting, so you need to pay attention to that. And the second part is, the second situation is that if the existing file cannot be overwritten, a restore error would occur. So these are some of the situation where we need to change either the name of the database or the paths for the files during the restoration process. And to avoid any errors and unpleasant consequences before you perform the restore operation, you can use the backup file history table to find out the database and log files in the backup you plan to restore. So backup file history table can be checked to find out the database and log files in the backup that we are planning to restore. Alright, now let's talk about actually moving the database files. So first of all, we have broadly discussed the steps that you need to take the backup from the source database, and then on the destination you need to restore the database, right? You need to connect to that computer, then you need to do the actual restoration. I've talked about some of the considerations before you can restore to give consideration to certain factors before you restore the database files. So I've discussed some of these factors. Now let's discuss on the topic which is the movement of database files. Give me a moment, guys. Okay, guys, let's continue with the topic movement of database files. Let's discuss on that and make it a heading as well. Let's make it a different color heading this time for a change. So let's talk on movement of database files. Now, if the files within a database backup cannot be restored onto a destination computer, it is necessary to move the files to a new location. We have discussed this concept. So, if the files within the database backup cannot be restored onto the destination computer, it is necessary to move the files to a new location. Alright, while they are being restored. Let's take an example. So let's discuss an example over here. So you want to restore a database. Let's take an example here. You want to restore a database from backups created in the default location of the earlier version of SQL Server. Alright, so we have a backup taken from the earlier version of SQL Server, and this is the first scenario. Let me discuss the next point. So you are restoring a file which is from the backup taken from the earlier version of SQL Server onto a new version of SQL Server, and at this point it may be necessary to restore some of the files or some of the database files, I would say, in the backup to a different drive, right? Because of the capacity consideration we were discussing earlier. So there are some capacity considerations under which we need to restore a file to a different location. Now this is a common occurrence. So this space issue is a common occurrence because most computers, if we talk about, right, within an organization, if we say, do not have the same number of size of disk drives or identical software configurations. So this is one of the scenarios where you need to change the locations of the files while restoring in case the destination drive does not have a sufficient disk space. Now let me talk about some more points. And sometimes we are in a situation where it may be necessary to create a copy of an existing database on the same computer for testing any testing purposes. So if we come across this scenario where we want to copy an existing database on the same computer on the same instance for testing purpose, we cannot restore it with the same name, and when we cannot restore the files to the same location as well, right? So in this case, both the database name which we are restoring and the restored location of the database files need to be changed under this scenario. So in this case, the database files for the original database, right, already exists, right? So different file names must be specified when the database copy is created during the restore operation. So I hope guys you are writing out the notes. Now let's talk about the process where it is necessary to change the database name. So this is one of the instances where the database name needs to be changed because we are restoring the same database to the same instance for testing purpose, so we need to rename it. So let's talk on topic changing the database name maybe. So let's make it a heading. So what are the considerations for changing the database name? So if we talk about the changing the name of the database can be changed, right, as it is restored to a destination computer, right? So during the restore operation, we can change the name of the database to the destination computer while doing a restore on destination computer without having to restore the database first. So one thing which can be done is we can change the name of the database as it is the name of the database can be changed as it is being restored to the destination computer without having to restore the database first. So this can be one of the scenarios where we don't have to actually restore the database, but yeah, we can change name before the restoration process. So we can change the name of the database before doing a restoration first. And then change the name manually. Alright, so what we can do, so the name of the database can be changed as it is restored to the destination computer without having to restore the database first and then change the name manually. Now, for example, if we talk about, it may be necessary to change the database name from sales to maybe sales copy, right, to indicate that this is a copy of a sales database, right? So this is one of the situation where the renaming is required, right? So if we talk about the database name is explicitly supplied when you restore a database. So database name is fetched from the file, from the backup file, and you don't have to explicitly mention it while you are performing a restore operation. So database name is explicitly supplied when you restore a database is used automatically as the new database name. So we don't have to explicitly supply a database name whenever we are doing a restore operation from a backup, right? And this database's name is fetched from the backup file itself and will be automatically used as a new database name. And because the database name does not already exist on the destination, a new one. I'm talking about the default situation where a database with the same name does not exist on the destination. So in those cases, a new one gets created. So a new one is created by using the files in the backup. Alright. Now some points to consider when upgrading a database by using restore. Let's talk about that. So maybe we want to upgrade our database by taking a backup from the previous version of SQL Server and restoring it to a newer version of SQL Server. Sometimes we do that in the cases where we want to upgrade the database. Alright, so let's talk about upgrading the topic upgrading our database by using the restore operation. Let's make it a heading quickly. Alright, so upgrading a database by using a restore operation, let's talk on that. So when restoring backups from an early version, it is helpful to know in advance where the path, maybe driver directory, on each of the full text catalogs in a backup exist on the destination computer. Alright. And to list the logical and physical names, path and file name of every file in a backup, including the catalog files, use the restore file list only from the backup device statement. Alright, so we had talked about this earlier, right? So basically whenever you are doing a restore operation, and it is very helpful to know in advance whether the path of each of the full text catalog in the backup exists on the destination computer or not. So this is an important point. So restoring the backups from an early version, right? It is very helpful to know beforehand, right? Whether the path of files, maybe I can say, in the backup file exist on the destination computer or not, so that overwriting cannot be happen. Overwriting should not happen. So we should know paths beforehand. And basically to list the logical name and physical name, basically path and file name of every file in the backup, including the catalog files. So we can use basically the restore file list, and then we give the backup device, right? Backup device can be a file or a tape device. So we give a path to the backup file, right? And we restore just the file list. That does not actually perform the restore operation, but it shows us the list of file paths, right? So we can use this command to list out any logical and physical names of the files in backup, right? And you can watch out my previous videos regarding how to use the restore file list only operation. And if the same path does not, now at this point we are aware about the paths if we use this operation, right? if we use a backup file to get the file list which is being restored, we can check whether those paths exist on the destination computer or not. So in this situation, if the same path does not exist on the destination computer, right, we have two alternatives. So first alternative is, maybe I can create the equivalent drive directory mapping. This is one of the situation on the destination computer. So maybe, for example, if drive E does not exist, maybe then yeah, if it's possible, we can create a drive or directory mapping as it is present in the source backup. Second thing is we can move the catalog files in the backup to a new location during the restore operation itself. So these are the only two options available. And this can be done by using the with move clause, right? Clause in your restore database statement. Alright, and yeah, that's it. Um, so there are two short topics. Let's talk about database ownership here. Let me make this a heading. Database ownership considerations during the movement. Now, when the database, if we talk about when the database is restored to another computer, right? So here we are talking about two different computers or two different instances of SQL Server. So when a database backup is taken from one instance, right, and restored to another instance, the SQL Server login, if we say, or maybe the Microsoft Windows user who initiates the restore operation. So whoever be the user who is taking the backup and initiating the restore operation, alright, becomes the owner of the new database in the destination computer automatically. So whoever is performing the restore operation becomes the owner of the database automatically. Now, when the database is restored, the system administrator or maybe the new database owner, I would say, can change the database ownership at that time. And to prevent the unauthorized restoration of a database, use media backup set with passwords. So this is a general recommendation to basically prevent the unauthorized restoration of a database, right? Use media or backup set uh, passwords. So we can use passwords on the media or backup sets if we do not want any unauthorized users to restore a particular database backup. Give me a minute, guys. Alright, guys, let's talk about one more important topic, which is basically managing the metadata when we restore the database to another server instance. Alright, so this is a topic and let me color it. So basically when we restore a database onto another server instance, right, whenever we are restoring a database to another server instance, and if we want to provide consistent experience to any users and applications as we were providing in the source system, So in order to provide the same consistent experience to the users and the applications, we might have to recreate some or all of the metadata for the database, such as any logins or jobs we need to recreate on the other server instance. We need to create these logins and jobs to provide the consistent experience. So guys, I am done with this topic, and today's topic was copy databases, how to copy a database. This, let me repeat. So today's topic is how to copy databases with backup and restore process in SQL Server. So this was a theoretical discussion. This does not contain any practicals. So I was discussing it theoretically, some of the considerations to be made while you are doing the backup and restore operation to copy the databases. So I hope you like this video. If you really like this video, please click on the like button below this video. And if you are new to this channel and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. There is a subscribe button below this video. Click on the subscribe button. It will give you a bell icon. Click on that bell icon, select all notifications to get notifications regarding all my future videos. Alright guys, let me give you 5 seconds. If you have not done subscribing, you may go ahead and do so right away. Click on the subscribe button. Let me give you 5 seconds. So guys, I hope you have subscribed by now. That would be useful in getting the timely alerts for my new videos. And guys, please do share your comments with us. In case you need the PDF copy of the notes, you can write back to us with the title of the video. The notes will be on charge basis. The charge is 25 rupees per page. So for example, if you are asking for a 4-page notes, that will cost you 100 rupees. And you can send a request on vrmavane@gmail.com. So upon receiving your request, I will send you the payment link, and upon making payment, you can download the notes. And guys, do share your comments with us. Any requests, any suggestions, any stories you would like to share regarding SQL Server, or any situations where my content has helped you somewhere, please do share your comments with us regarding that. We eagerly wait for your comments and would love to read the same. And also guys, if you have a good network of friends, please share these videos with your friends in case you feel these are useful for them, and also ask them to subscribe to our channel. So that is the help I require from your end, and I thank you so much for your time on this video today, and you have a wonderful day ahead guys. Thank you so much.